So for people that are newer to yoga, I want to say this to you. I often get emails from folks considering the training who feel themselves to be newer to yoga, and they'll say things like, I can't do a handstand, or I don't have a really advanced practice, or I've only been practicing yoga 2 or 3 times a week for the last few years. Am I advanced enough for this training? And I usually respond by giving people our definition of advanced, which is that to be advanced means you're willing to be in your body, you're willing to be self-reflective, and you are curious about the process of using yoga as a practice of self-inquiry and healing. And it's not about doing fancy yoga poses. And of course we want folks to have experience with yoga, otherwise it's going to feel overwhelming. But you don't have to know how to do fancy stuff with your body to do a teacher training.
Yeah, I feel like we typically have half the group, or maybe a little more than half the group, who are first-time teacher trainees. And those first-time teacher trainees, there's always a few who are like, I don't really know why I'm taking this training. I was just drawn to it. I just feel like it's going to be beneficial to me. I wanted to study these things more deeply. And I don't know if I ever want to teach. And usually there's one in every group who ends up being like this amazing teacher. They're just naturally gifted, and it's so beautiful. And then there are others amongst those people doing their first certification who really are aspiring to teach yoga. And everyone comes in with this kind of, it's tender, it's vulnerable, it's excited, and it's beautiful. So we're very welcoming to that type of trainee.
Well, I pick up on that word welcoming, because I want to say that I know that when we get together, we kind of get excited about the things that we're passionate about social justice and self-reflection and self-regulation and healing and all these things. like
very sexy topics.
And so I want to say to people who are new to yoga or considering being a yoga teacher, and it's a new concept to you, that if you come into our training, it's actually really fun. We do joke around a lot, and it's goofy, and yes, there's these really important topics that we take seriously, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. And our experience has been with the trainees that they just bond, and friendships are built, and there's a real sense of camaraderie and sweetness, and
support. They support each other so much.
So much support, and ongoing even after. Because I was just, I've been working with one person from our group last year individually, and she just flew out to LA, and she hung out with 6 or 7 of the other people from the training, because that's where she feels she's embarking on something big in her life, and she said, these are the people I feel really supported by, so I flew out here just to be with them. And that's what I think is, so I wanted to say, like, it's not all heavy.
And it's not a competitive sport. And we're not authoritarian, like people sitting up at the front pronouncing things that you have to memorize in order to qualify for our training. It's like we're in a very collaborative, non-authoritarian, community building experience together.
And so I feel like because of that, we're able to offer people a lot of information, and it's a rigorous training. But it's not like school. I often joke, like if you have school trauma where there's pressure to perform and pressure to do it right and a sense of shaming if you can't keep up, it's quite the opposite. And I'm always proud of how we're able to not have a flimsy training that doesn't offer a lot of information. We absolutely do that. But we disrupt some of the typical dynamics around that where people feel intimidated. Our groups are very sweet.